Power to handle more acreage in less time. Power to overcome tough spots. Power to beat the weather. Power for squadron hitches. Power for clay knolls, river bottom gumbo, and hard-packed adobe. Extra power that lets you work at fast speeds for better soil pulverization. Extra power that lets you open virgin land with heavy-duty land planes. Yes, for extra power, the J.I. Case Company of Racine, Wisconsin, and your local case equipment dealer present the 1200 Traction King, a new concept in farm power. The addition of the 1200 Traction King to the Case tractor line provides a better choice than ever before to match your power requirements. 6 power classes with new comfort, new styling, and new performance. The 1200 Traction King gives you new work capacity with 109 drawbar horsepower, 120 PTO horsepower, and 140 engine horsepower. With 7.5 tons of balanced weight distribution, with 4-wheel steer, and with 4-wheel drive. True 4-wheel drive with 4 tires of equal size and a balanced weight distribution. Case is the first full-line manufacturer to introduce a practical-priced, true 4-wheel drive in the 120 horsepower class. Here is the tractor for the man who thinks really big. And you can afford to think big, because the Traction King is priced comparatively little more than the biggest 2-wheel drive tractors or 4-wheel drive conversions. The Traction King's 4-wheel drive power lets you pull 8 plow bottoms and more, plowing 65 acres in a single day. And with a heavy-duty chisel plow shattering soil over a 26-foot width, the 1200 Traction King covers more than 100 acres a day, letting you stay ahead of problems like short help and short seasons. What does 4-wheel drive really mean? It means that each wheel delivers only 1/4 of the total load. Each wheel handles only 30 horsepower. With a 2-wheel drive tractor, each wheel must deliver twice as much as a 4-wheel drive model. Each wheel must handle 60 horsepower here. No wonder that such a difference exists between the field performance of a 4-wheel drive tractor compared to a 2-wheel drive tractor. 4 large tires of equal size can handle 30 horsepower each, much more efficiently than 2 tires can handle 60 horsepower each. With the 1200 Traction King, all 4 wheels are powered and functional. Their large size provides more flotation, less slippage, and greater traction. You get more traction in loose, sandy soils, marsh ground, wet, irrigated ground, and river bottom gumbo, anywhere the traction is a problem. The Traction King can provide the extra traction needed for handling implements normally pulled by crawler tractors. But in addition to plenty of power and traction, it provides the speed, mobility, and economy of rubber tires. Yes, you can get into fields sooner in the spring and work later in the fall. In addition, 4-wheel drive means avoiding tire wear, avoiding soil compaction, avoiding excessive fuel consumption, and avoiding loss of control. Let's look more closely at the 1200 Traction King. There are no design compromises here. It has been built from the ground up to meet the fast-paced needs of big farmers everywhere. Actually, when there's no drawbar load, 60% of the 1200's weight is on the front wheels and 40% is on the rear wheels. When a load is pulled, front end weight will be transferred to the rear wheels. The original 60 to 40% weight distribution now changes to a uniform weight distribution. How does this compare to an ordinary 2-wheel drive tractor? The average two-wheel drive tractor has 75% of its weight on the rear wheels. As a load is pulled, front end weight is transferred to the rear wheels. In tough conditions, the entire load might be carried by only 2 tractor tires instead of 4. 7.5 tons of balanced weight on 4 big tires provides unequal performance compared to the unbalanced weight of a two-wheel drive tractor. It's impossible to duplicate actual field conditions on a flat concrete surface, but even here, the 1200 superior traction and flotation are evident. At official tests of maximum pull for 120 horsepower tractors, the Case 1200 pulled a whopping big 15,860 pounds at over 2 miles per hour, delivering more than 98 drawbar horsepower. Look at the advantages of the Case 1200. The bottom line tells the story. The Case 1200 pulled 1,686 pounds more. Its speed was 1/2 mile per hour faster, and it delivered 30 horsepower more than the two-wheel tractor. In this test, the 1200 actually delivered 92% of its maximum drawbar horsepower, while the two-wheel drive tractor delivered only 62% of its maximum drawbar horsepower. Now let's compare the 1200 to a two-wheel drive tractor converted to four-wheel drive. Speed is shown at the bottom of the chart. The drawbar load is shown at the side of the chart. You'll notice that the 1200 moves the same load almost 1/2 mile per hour faster. Now let's see what happens if the load gets tougher. The 1200 Traction King increases its pull power to almost 10,000 pounds without downshifting. Tractor B barely got up to 9,000 pounds. In addition to increasing traction for extra pull power and extra speed, the balanced weight distribution of the Traction King provides important added benefits. The Traction King weighs a full 15,000 pounds without any ballast. If added weight is desired, the 4 large tires offer plenty of capacity for inexpensive liquid solution without any addition of extra cast iron weight. On the other hand, two-wheel drive tractors and four-wheel conversions are often overweighted with hundreds of pounds of cast iron. Is it any surprise that the result can be premature failures of axle housings, gears, shafts, wheel rims, and other tractor parts? Besides, the balanced design of the Traction King means greater stability for safer operation on hillsides and rough ground, as well as crossing waterways, levees, borders, and ditches. Steering control is simple and positive. The 1200 with power to the front wheels and plenty of front-end weight avoids skidding or sliding around the corner. You don't have to plow dirt with the front wheels to make the turn. The 1200 also provides an extremely wide range of axle oscillation that allows all 4 wheels to stay on the ground and keep pulling over uneven terrain and rough field conditions. Hand in hand with new power is new control with 4-wheel power steering. It lets you handle this big tractor easier than a small tractor, whether you're on the road or in the field. The steering wheel steers the front wheels, while the steering lever controls the rear wheels independently. In a coordinated turn, the steering lever works just like a turn signal on an automobile. Pull it down to turn left, push it up to turn right. The action is perfectly natural. 4-wheel steer with independent control of front and rear wheels provides 4 basic steering techniques: front wheel steering, coordinated steering, independent rear steering, and crab steering. Conventional front wheel steering is, of course, the natural control for most operations. For shorter turning, coordinated steering would be used. With front and rear wheels turned in opposite directions, you can turn shorter at the headlands, and you can maneuver better around tight quarters near farm buildings. Independent rear steering is extremely handy when backing up to hook onto an implement. In addition, independent rear steering may be used to overcome side draft. Crab steering may be used on slopes or side hills. It offers unique maneuverability with all 4 wheels turned slightly uphill to prevent side slipping. The 1200 Traction King is an entirely new tractor, not only in its basic design of four-wheel drive power and four-wheel steer, but also in its design of engine, transmission, final drive, and four-wheel power brakes. This Case turbocharged six-cylinder diesel engine is the biggest Case engine ever used. Its 451 cubic inch displacement with a turbocharger provides 140 engine horsepower. The 1200 provides over 400 foot-pounds of heavy lugging torque power. Torque power that hangs on when others give up. Torque power greater than another tractor, costing $7,000 more than the 1200. The matched performance of the turbocharger, plus exclusive power cell-controlled combustion, produces more power with greater fuel savings. It also means easier starting in cold weather, smoother running, and less exhaust wastes. Case engines have a long record of exceptional performance and durability, and this turbocharged Case engine incorporates these proven features: 7 main bearings, heavily ribbed reinforced block, multiple heads, water manifold ported to each cylinder, 3 fuel filters and filter gauge, separate water trap, and wet cylinder sleeves. From one end of the tractor to the other, you'll find the same rugged construction we've just described in the engine. This large 15-inch clutch compares to other tractors that use only a 14-inch clutch, or in one case, even a 12-inch clutch. In addition, the ceramic facing outlasts ordinary organic type facings by 8 to 1. This transmission is probably the heaviest duty transmission ever used in an agricultural tractor. It weighs 1,500 pounds, yet this does not even include the final gear reduction, because final gear reduction occurs in the separate planetary housings at the end of each axle. This 3/4 ton constant mesh transmission stands almost 4 feet tall. You can imagine the size of the gears, shafts, and bearings. This heavy-duty 6-speed transmission offers 3 excellent tillage speeds to meet all kinds of soil conditions, from sandy and loose soils to heavy river bottom gumbo. In addition, it provides a faster field speed for lighter work, a fast hauling speed to pull big wagon loads in tandem, and a fast transport speed. Also convenient are 6 reverse speeds for increased versatility. The 1200's heavy-duty final drive utilizes a planetary system for each drive wheel, each with its own independent housing, each assured of positive lubrication, whether it's on the uphill or downhill side. Other quality features include hypoid differential gears, patented heat-treated axles, and floating ring gears. All these things are done for longer life, but even more important, they keep you working in the field, avoiding unnecessary field interruptions and downtime. It's no wonder that the 1200 Traction King is protected by a full 12-month warranty, with no limit on the hours of use. Yes, the 1200 brings new design for field reliability. It also brings new ease in tractor operation. Hydrostatic power steering provides amazing responsiveness with its full power and quick turning. A separate hydraulic pump assures positive reaction at all times, completely independent of other hydraulic functions. 4-wheel power brakes also use a power system completely separate from all other hydraulic functions. It's a combination vacuum assist and hydraulic brake system proven in use over many years in heavy construction equipment. The dual-valve hydraulic control for remote cylinders provides full power that cannot be diverted for any other use. It permits the use of 2 remote cylinders for implement control of squadron hitches. Also available is a 3-point hookup. This giant-size hitch for mounted equipment further increases the versatility of the Traction King. It's a heavy-duty Category 3 hitch with extra strength to handle big toolbar equipment. yet it is also convertible to handle Category 2 equipment. The 3-point hitch coupler permits fast hitching right from the tractor seat. Backing up to hook the coupler under the implement mounting pins is an easy job, with the added maneuverability of the 1200's independent rear steering. Raise the hitch, and the implement automatically locks in place. You're ready to go to the field fast. With mounted equipment, you can enjoy greater clearance for fast travel between fields, and you can appreciate greater clearance over borders and levees. An independent PTO operating at 1,000 RPMs is available. The PTO is engaged and disengaged by a separate clutch, with the control lever located in the same control console as the hydraulic levers. The 1200's heavy-duty drawbar can be locked in place or can be left free swinging. Its massive construction matches the 1200's extra pull power for big tillage tools and squadron hitches. Even its big drawbar pin is silent testimony to the 1200's king-size power. From every point of view, the 1200 shows itself to be the tractor for the man who thinks really big. And the operator's platform is no exception. Human engineering studies created a styling concept for unequaled visibility, control, and comfort. It's 9 feet to the top of the steering wheel, and this extra height provides a cleaner ride by keeping you out of much of the dust and dirt that's naturally thrown up by the tractor tires. Visibility over the hood is exceptional, and to make it even better, the air cleaner is designed so that there's no air stack to interfere with your line of sight. The exhaust stack, too, is removed from interfering with your visibility. There's plenty of room on the 1200's large platform. The extremely large deck area is free and clear so that you can move your legs easily and stretch from time to time. You'll also appreciate the inclined deck area for extra comfort. Foot pedals for clutch and brake operation are wide and rubber covered for extra convenience, especially for those number 13s. The parking brake is conveniently located. It can be adjusted by simply turning the knob at the end of the handle. Hand throttle and foot throttle are provided. Extremely handy is the unique rear steering indicator that avoids the need for twisting around to determine the steering direction of the rear tires. Rear steering direction can always be seen at a glance while continuing to look forward. Operating controls are located in the side panel consoles of the operator's cockpit. They're easily reached for quick action and positive control. Lift the deck plate, and batteries are easily accessible for servicing. And a convenient toolbox is also very handy. When climbing up to the roomy and comfortable platform, you have wide steps and safety hand grips for complete convenience. Notice how the operator is seated between the front and rear axles. Now you can sit as you would in an automobile, cradled between the axles to absorb the extra shocks and bounces. Instead of amplifying rough field conditions, your ride is softened and smoother. And you'll discover unequaled comfort in this new deep cushioned seat with its wide wraparound armrest and its separate backrest that gives you complete support. The seat is easily adjusted back and forth on inclined rails to suit your leg length, and it's also adjustable for cushion action. For even greater comfort, the 1200 Traction King can be equipped with an all-weather cab. This heavy-duty, rugged cab is tight-fitted to exclude dust and cold air. With large, full-size windows, there's total visibility to the front, sides, and rear. The doors are extra large and open up to expose the full operator's compartment for easy entry. Offering complete versatility, the cab can even be converted easily and quickly for use as a canopy by simply removing the doors, side panels, and rear panel. The windshield and top remain for protection from the elements, while you have the convenience of the open-air atmosphere. And all of this comfort and convenience is complemented with a fuel tank capacity that will let you work all day uninterrupted. A big 90 gallons of fuel tank capacity lets you put the 1200's turbocharged six-cylinder diesel engine to work non-stop to beat the weather and get those crops in earlier. Farmers like yourselves across the country have been enjoying the performance and the comfort of the 1200. Their experiences are more meaningful to you, for they are the men that operate these tractors day after day. Mr. Gerald Gray of Stuttgart, Arkansas, reports that in wet rice ground with heavy straw, he pulled a 25.5-foot disc at about 5 miles an hour. When working bean ground, he covers as much as 130 acres in a short day, and he uses less than 6 gallons of fuel per hour. Mr. Frank C. Hickey of Flagler, Colorado, used to use 2 big tractors hooked in tandem to pull a 38-foot chisel plow. Now he says, "With my 1200, I can pull that same chisel 6 inches deep in hard ground at a speed of almost 4 miles an hour. In 17 rounds, I can chisel a quarter section of ground myself, alone, and in comfort." Mr. C. Frank Cadle of Hunter, Kansas says, "I need the power and traction that the crawler offers. When I saw the 1200, I figured this was the tractor I've been looking for to speed up my farming. In 10.5 hours, using a 24-foot V-plow, I went over a quarter section of land. This is the answer to the large farmer that's trying to hold down overhead." Mr. Jack Clay of Chowchilla, California, owns several tractors, both crawler and wheel. He says, "I feel that the compaction of soil is much less with our 1200 than on a 2-wheel drive tractor. On most every type of job, this tractor is faster, and it appears to be more suitable than a crawler." Mr. John Kubik of Turin, Alberta, purchased a 1200 after seeing one work on a colony farm. He says, "I was quite satisfied with its fuel consumption and power. I'll be using it on 2,800 acres of dry land with a 28-foot chisel plow and a 32-foot blade." Mr. Gary Lockmiller from Clovis, New Mexico, is taking these 2 1200s out after their regular 200-hour service check. He says, "In our previous farming operations, we've been using 65 horsepower crawlers. The 1200s will travel about 2 miles per hour faster, pulling the same load with 30 feet of sweep plow. This gives us a third more work done per day with labor and fuel savings of equal value. The upkeep is less on tires and brakes. Besides, the 1200 is cleaner, and much easier and more comfortable to operate." Mr. James C. Zanto farms at Square Butte, Montana, and he covers 170 to 200 acres in a 12-hour day with a 29-foot chisel plow. He says, "The large 90-gallon fuel tank has capacity to last for the longest day we could work it, which was 18 hours, and we still had fuel left." Mr. Laverne Curl of Conrad, Montana says, "I've been using track-type tractors, and I feel that the 1200 will more than replace them in my operation. Maneuverability and traction on soft hills under heavy loads are excellent. It's easy to cover 200 acres a day on summer fallow." Mr. Dwight L. Campbell of Crowell, Texas says, "I bought this tractor feeling that my cost of production would be reduced. This is being proven beyond my expectations. Not only am I saving $15 per day for a driver, but some 25% on fuel and 20% to 30% on tire wear. After 500 hours, the tires show no visible wear. Also, in spite of its size, it handles as easy as any tractor I ever drove." Yes, from north, south, east, and west, it all adds up to getting more work done faster than ever before, with fewer man-hours and lower production costs. The 1200 Traction King gives you equal power and equal traction to all 4 wheels. It gives you more usable tractor power, harnessed for king-size productive capacity. But the key to a 1200 Traction King is more than a key to giant power. It's also the key to time. Not only productive time, but time for more leisure. time to relax. Time for hunting and other activities. Time for the family. Time that comes after the work is done. Time that doesn't just happen. It's time that has to be made. It's extra time, created by the extra power of the 1200 Traction King. Let your Case dealer show you how easy it is to enjoy the benefits of farming big with the 1200 Traction King.